Have you ever thought about how your daily habits impact your happiness? Let's dive into this intriguing topic. Our daily habits are like threads woven into the fabric of our lives, forming the pattern that is our existence. These habits, the things we do, the foods we eat, and the thoughts we entertain, are the building blocks of our day-to-day experiences. You see, every single thing we do, whether it's brushing our teeth in the morning or scrolling through social media before bed, contributes to our overall state of being. Now let's talk about happiness. Isn't it fascinating how this elusive feeling can be influenced by our everyday actions? The food we consume, the exercise we undertake, the thoughts we allow into our minds, all these can either lift our spirits or bring us down. It's like an intricate dance where every step matters, and it's all choreographed by none other than dopamine. Dopamine, our brain's very own reward system. This neurotransmitter is responsible for that rush of joy you get when you bite into your favorite chocolate cake, or when you finally finish that challenging puzzle. Dopamine plays a pivotal role in our happiness, influencing how we perceive and interact with the world around us. But here's the kicker. Like anything in life, balance is key. Too little dopamine, and we might feel unmotivated and sluggish. Too much, on the other hand, can lead to overstimulation and addiction. Yes, our favorite apps and snacks are designed to hit that dopamine sweet spot, keeping us coming back for more. And this, my friends, is where our daily habits come into play. Our actions, our diet, our thought patterns, they all have a direct impact on our dopamine levels. And by extension, they have the power to shape our happiness. So, what if I told you that you have the power to control your happiness by managing your dopamine levels? Intrigued? Stay with me as we venture further into this fascinating journey of self-discovery and personal empowerment. Dopamine, often known as the feel-good hormone, plays a crucial role in our happiness. This neurotransmitter, a type of chemical messenger, is a central player in the reward circuit of our brain. It's released when we do things we enjoy, like indulging in a favorite meal or achieving a personal goal, giving us that warm, fuzzy feeling of satisfaction and pleasure. Now, you might think, the more dopamine, the merrier, right? Not quite. You see, while dopamine is essential for driving our motivation and pleasure centers, excessive levels can lead to a sort of dopamine hangover. Just like overindulging in a delicious but rich meal can leave you feeling bloated and uncomfortable, overstimulating your dopamine receptors can lead to a sense of emptiness or dissatisfaction. Let's think about it this way. Imagine you're listening to your favorite song on repeat. At first, it's great, you're grooving, and every beat brings you joy. But after the 20th, 30th, or 40th time, the song starts to lose its charm. It's no longer as exciting or satisfying as it was initially. This is similar to what happens in our brains when there's a dopamine overload. The activities that once brought us joy no longer have the same effect. This condition is often seen in our modern, hyper-connected world. We're constantly bombarded with information and stimuli, from social media notifications to binge-worthy TV series, and our poor brains are on a constant dopamine high. This can lead to feelings of burnout, dissatisfaction, and even depression. So, how do we manage our dopamine levels to ensure a balanced and sustainable happiness? The answer is dopamine detox. A dopamine detox, contrary to what you might think, is not about eliminating dopamine from your system. Quite the opposite, in fact. It's about resetting your dopamine levels to better manage your mood, focus, and overall happiness. Think of it as a system reboot for your brain, where we aim to recalibrate the way your brain responds to dopamine. Now, before we dive in, let's clear up a common misconception. The term dopamine detox can be misleading. You see, we can't actually reduce the amount of dopamine in our brains, nor would we want to. Dopamine is an essential neurotransmitter that helps control the brain's reward and pleasure centers. It regulates movement and emotional responses, and it enables us not only to see rewards, but to take action to move toward them. So if we're not eliminating dopamine, what exactly are we detoxing from? In a nutshell, we're detoxing from overstimulation. In our modern world, we're constantly bombarded by stimuli that trigger the release of dopamine. From the ping of a notification on our phones, to the endless scroll of social media, to the satisfaction of ticking off a to-do list item, these dopamine triggers are everywhere. When we're constantly surrounded by these triggers, our brains can become desensitized to dopamine. This means we end up needing more and more stimulation to feel the same level of pleasure or satisfaction. That's where the concept of a dopamine detox comes in. A dopamine detox is essentially a period of time where you intentionally reduce the amount of dopamine triggers in your life. It's about taking a step back from the constant stimulation and instant gratification that our modern world provides. It's about resetting our brain's reward system to become more sensitive to dopamine again. In essence, a dopamine detox is about learning to appreciate the simple things in life, finding pleasure in activities that don't involve constant stimulation, and improving our overall mood and focus. It's about taking control of our brain's reward system and creating a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. Now, you might be wondering, how do I do a dopamine detox? Doing a dopamine detox is simpler than you might think, and it can have profound effects on your life. It's not about cutting off dopamine completely, but rather it's about recalibrating your dopamine levels to promote a healthier, happier lifestyle. So how do we do it? Let's dive in. Firstly, and perhaps most importantly, we need to reduce screen time. The constant barrage of notifications, likes, and updates is a surefire way to keep dopamine levels artificially high, creating a dependency. By setting aside specific time slots for technology use, we can maintain control over our dopamine levels and not the other way around. Secondly, engage in mindful activities. This could be anything from meditation, reading a book, or going for a walk in nature. These activities help us to slow down, to reconnect with ourselves and the world around us. They also give our brains a break from the constant stimulation of modern life, allowing our dopamine levels to reset naturally. Next, we need to eat a balanced diet. What we eat has a direct impact on our brain chemistry. Foods rich in tyrosine, such as almonds, bananas, and avocados, can help to boost dopamine levels naturally. On the other hand, foods high in sugar and unhealthy fats can cause dopamine spikes, leading to a crash later on. Lastly, don't be too hard on yourself. It's okay to indulge in your favorite activities or treats occasionally. The aim of a dopamine detox isn't to deprive yourself, but to create a more balanced and sustainable lifestyle. Remember, it's not about perfection, but progress. In conclusion, a dopamine detox is all about moderation and mindfulness. It's about becoming more aware of our habits, our actions, and their effects on our well-being. It's about making small, sustainable changes that can lead to big improvements in our quality of life. Remember, the goal of a dopamine detox is not to eliminate dopamine, but to reset its levels for a more balanced and sustainable happiness. So, why should you consider doing a dopamine detox? The benefits are many. Our brains are intricate networks of connections, constantly buzzing with activity. Among this flurry of neural communication, dopamine plays a unique role. It's the neurotransmitter responsible for our feelings of pleasure and reward. But in the modern world, our dopamine systems can become overstimulated, leading us to feel overwhelmed, stressed, and even addicted to certain behaviors. That's where a dopamine detox comes in. A dopamine detox is like hitting the reset button for your brain. It's a period of time where you intentionally reduce stimulation to allow your brain to recalibrate and restore its natural dopamine balance. But what does this mean for you on a practical level? Firstly, a dopamine detox can drastically improve your focus. In a world saturated with distractions, it's easy to spread our attention too thin. But by reducing dopamine triggers, you can train your brain to concentrate on one thing at a time. This can lead to increased productivity and a more mindful approach to your everyday tasks. Secondly, a dopamine detox can increase happiness. It might sound strange, but by limiting our exposure to artificial dopamine triggers, we can start to find joy in the simpler things in life. A dopamine detox can help you rediscover the joy in a good conversation, a beautiful sunset, or a delicious home-cooked meal. Thirdly, a dopamine detox can reduce stress. Our brains weren't designed to cope with the constant stream of information and stimulation we're subjected to in the digital age. By taking a break, you give your brain a chance to rest and recover, leading to reduced stress and anxiety. Lastly, a dopamine detox promotes overall well-being. It's not just about improving focus or reducing stress, it's about taking control of your brain health and overall mental wellness. It's about creating a lifestyle that supports your brain rather than overwhelming it. So why not give it a try? A dopamine detox could be the key to unlocking a happier and healthier you.